Hi everyone, I'm Catherine, the artist behind Bigelow Fine Arts. How is the face of your compass coming along? I'd love to know. Today I will be finishing up the details for the bottom half of the compass, starting with the hands on the compass rose. Check out the playlist if you want to follow along from the beginning. Otherwise, I've got my pencil sharpened and I'm ready to get started on this page. Join in and color along with me. As I just mentioned, I am beginning with the hands on the compass rose. I put in a layer of cold grey 5 along the edges of the triangle, followed by the cold grey 3 just in from that. I then filled in the center with the cold grey 1. I'll go through and work up each of the remaining points with the same method. The dark grey followed by the middle grey and finishing with the light grey. From there I need to deal with the center ring that holds the compass needle. Since I have my light coming from the top right, I will need to have a small cast shadow on the left side of the needle and the rings holding it in place. I work that up with the cold grey 5, then use the cold grey 1 to blend the remainder of the area, blending the two greys together with a little bit of the cold grey 3. Since I have the grey in my hand, I decided to go around and work up the dashes around the compass rose. I worked them up in a gradient. First I laid in the cold grey 5, covering about a third of the dash, going heavy to light with the layers of pigment. I went through and worked up the remaining dashes before coming in with the cold grey 3 for another third, again layering the pigment heavier to light. I worked up all the dashes before coming in with the cold grey 1 for the final third and using that to blend everything together. I decided to work up the branch next. There really isn't any reason for the order I am working things up in. I worked in a layer of the May green on the branch to cover the paper. I then added a light layer of raw umber to give it a brown tint, and it does give it the illusion of being a young branch. Not green, but not brown either. I go back over the branch again with both colors to add more layers. The leaves I colored the same as the two-tone leaves above. A layer of the grass green followed by half the leaf getting the permanent green to give it more depth and variation. And since I have these colors out, the small leaves alternating with the oak leaves are next. I lay down a base of grass green on all of the leaves. Since I am using a circular motion to fill in the leaf, I am giving more than one layer to the whole leaf, but I keep my hand light so the paper will accept the second green. When I hit all the leaves, I come back and make sure I have filled them in completely, all the way to the edge. I quickly touch up the leaf again. Once I have all the leaves filled in, I come in with the permanent green to color in just one half of the leaf. I hit the clockwise side of the leaf to match the top half where I also hit the clockwise side. I'm not pressing hard, but enough to make the one side darker than the other. A final blend with the light green brings the colors together. Moving on to the oak leaves, I began with a base layer of the earth green yellowish. I hit all the leaves since they are pretty small. I then came in with the pine green to darken up all the ribs and the stem. In order to get a smooth finish, I went back in with the earth green yellowish to blend out the color a little and bring everything together. I still have to add in more layers to the walnut brown, but decided to procrastinate on that and work further on the outer bezel. I pulled out the set of 3 grays and continued on the bezel. My light source is in the upper right, and I already decided that the inner section of the bezel is angled to the inside while the outer part angles out. Since the outer section of the bezel is facing out, and in this case away from the light source, I will fill in the outer ring with the cold gray 5. I then came in with the cold gray 3 to blend the gray 1 into the gray 5. I came in with the cold gray 1 to fill in the inner section of the bezel. This is where the light source would be hitting directly, so it would be pretty bright. I decided to go ahead and finish darkening up the walnut brown area to finally just get it over with. After I filled in the inside of the bezel, I gave it a look over and realized it might look better to extend the amount of gray 3 into the gray 1 to balance everything a little better. So I went ahead and did that. That covers the bottom half of the compass and the compass face. Tomorrow I'll have the next video from World Within Worlds, but I will be resuming the compass on Monday, starting to work up the 4 seasons on the outside, so I hope I will see you then. I hope you've been following along and enjoying the new format. Let me know below. I'd love to see how your compass is coming along. I have my social media links below. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. If you have any questions or page requests, please leave them below or reach out to me on social media. I put in a list of chapter breaks in the show notes, as well as a list of equipment I like to use. If you use any of the affiliate links, it really helps me out without costing you a thing. I want to thank you all so much for coming along and joining in with me on this coloring journey. I appreciate all my subscribers and look forward to more of you joining in and coloring along with me. That will only happen if you like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, happy coloring!